I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying a lot of formats for the transit videos, and this one goes down the list. I've covered so many transit videos in the past. Just want to say thank you for all the likes and views and all the comments that you've been dropping. It's been wonderful to read. I'm starting the new monthly prediction video now due to popular demand, and if this does well, I'm gonna do more. I don't even know if the likes really help push the video anymore, but I guess it kind of lets me know very quickly that you want more of this, and I appreciate that. Love you all, and thanks for all the support and all the emails. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Let's get this started. With Aries ascendants or Aries moon sign. For Aries, your Lord Mars is going into the 8th house of the sign of Scorpio. Now, usually, as per the texts, as per traditional Vedic astrology, Mars in the 8th house is considered as Mangal Dosh. Because 8th house represents transformation, it represents death, it represents endings. It is also the house of secrets. And Mars is a warrior, so when Mars goes into the 8th, he's like going into a kill zone, trying to defeat the enemy, but he's actually walking into a kill zone. And there's every chance of getting fired or getting killed in action. And that's not a very good placement for Mars to be in. But for you, Aries, Mars rules this house. And that means Mars is in control of the 8th house. So this is a month where you gain incredible strength to take charge of situations that once felt uncertain or felt difficult for you to handle. If you've been feeling stuck in a situation, this month is going to open up opportunities for you to tackle them. And with Sun in Libra, until the 16th, the focus remains on your 7th house of partnerships, both personal as well as professional. And you will notice negotiations, relationships, and teamwork requiring some amount of diplomacy because Venus is also present in the 7th house. 7th house Venus, it can give you a spouse who is transgressional in a way. But luckily for you, you've got Sun watching over Venus, and that is a very good thing up until mid-November. But then, once Sun moves into Scorpio, your attention will turn towards working together as a team in your relationships or working to create something together because Sun is your 5th lord going into the 8th house. And 8th house is the house of intimacy. 8th house is the house of sexual power. So now is a time where you could expect intimacy, not just for the sake of it, but to bring a beautiful child into this world. So if you're trying for pregnancy this month, expect a long talk with your partner about that. And Venus is starting the month in Libra. So Venus is lighting up your 7th house of relationship. So for many Aries, this is beautiful. You're going to see a smooth flow in love, smooth flow in harmony. But like I said, Venus 7th house can be a bit transgressional. Watch out for any odd behavior with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your spouse. That kind of situation could arise. But you know what? This is just a transit. There's not really much to worry about. But if your spouse is into addictive tendencies, then there could be a relapse of sorts, and that is where you need to watch out for. You might also meet someone through work or social gatherings who feel like a mirror to your energy this month. So, for single Aries, this month there could be sparks in the air, Christmas in your eyes, that sort of stuff. But when Venus shifts to Scorpio on the 27th, Venus, when it moves from Libra to Scorpio on the 27th, things get more serious, things get more passionate. Emotions are going to run wild. So, this is a time where you could experience a very good bonding of sorts, or you could see where trust issues lie. And if you're in a long term partnership, topics about finance, topics about intimacy, or even control could actually take center stage. But trust me, because Venus goes into the 8th alongside Mars, it's only going to bring harmony, not chaos, because Venus is the natural significator of harmony in relationships. And this month, there could also be talks of moving someplace on a vacation. And that's mostly a place that you've probably never been to because Mars is now going into the eighth house alongside Venus, alongside Sun. Of course, Venus joins much later, but you know, Mars alone in the eighth house could bring that travel or vacation into place. So many Aries are also going to be gearing up for a travel this month. The relief is mostly also brought about by Jupiter in the fourth aspecting your 12th house, bringing relief where Saturn is currently transiting, slowing things down with regards to faraway travel. So some of you people are going to travel very far away, or you're going to actually move into a foreign country, spend some time there, and get back. Now, Mercury is also alongside Mars in the sign of Scorpio in your eighth house, and it brings its own twist into things because Mercury begins the month in Scorpio, helping you research, uncover, and think strategically. You're sharper than usual. But as Mercury retrogrades back into Libra on the 23rd, expect a return of old conversations or unfinished discussions in partnerships. People from the past may reappear, giving you a chance to resolve lingering issues. Mercury retrograde is a time where you need to be careful about contracts, about business deals. There could be disputes or challenges in that relationship or in that contract or in that deal that require your focus. But once Mercury goes direct again, things are going to be much, much better. The good news is that with Mars strong, you're not losing momentum. You're going to, in fact, gain from the eighth house related matters because, as Parashara says, eighth Lord in the eighth house strengthens the eighth house. And that means you could now gain through your in laws, you could now gain through inheritance. Mars in the eighth house could give you longevity, or you might start something new to gain longevity at this time. Jupiter also continues to bless your eighth house from the fourth house, and it's going to help you stabilize the home and look for opportunities to work due to its aspect on the 10th house. So, Jupiter's aspect on the 10th brings support from colleagues at work. But remember, planets in the 8th house aspecting the 2nd house always means that your words carry a lot of power. Things you say may actually manifest out of the blue. So be careful how you speak. Any negative words can have a very strong impact on somebody, even though you didn't even mean it. So be very careful of what you say. Try to speak as less as possible. But the good side of planets in the 8th house is that your curiosity to know more about astrology, to research or dig into the truth of things is gonna be on an all-time high. If you're an astrologer, this month is gonna teach you a lot of things about foreseeing the future. You don't even need a consultation from some other astrologer. You're your best buddy when it comes to assessing the future. And if you're reading a chart for someone, try to focus on the positive and let go of the negative. And in terms of health, watch for exhaustion or burnout around mid-month. Scorpio energy can make you push too hard emotionally. So what I suggest is you need to take rest, especially around Sun, Mars, mid-November. That's when both your vitality and temper might spike. However, this is a month where you find love and harmony in your relationship, especially with your spouse or partner. They're going to ensure that you feel happy and loved, even though with Ketu in the fifth, sucking up the energy of romance. So you may feel a bit detached, but your partner is going to do everything to bring that energy back in that relationship. Jupiter is exalted in the fourth house, puts you in charge at home. This is a good time to start planning for a new home or moving places, but it's mostly going to be limited to planning rather than the actual movement. So by the end of November, you're going to feel like you've passed through a tunnel, becoming more wiser, becoming sharper, and also in control of the situation after going through some difficult or challenging times where you had to manage things that you were never prepared for. By December, you will emerge with stronger confidence because of Mars moving into the sign of Sagittarius, which happens to be your ninth house alongside the Sun. So this is going to be a wonderful transit as well. And that's all I've got for Aries. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below, like and share this video with your friends and family. Next up, we have Taurus. So let's look at Taurus. Taurus this month is going to feel like a balancing act between work, between health and relationships. But it's also the month where your emotional intelligence is going to be your greatest strength because your fourth lord goes into your sixth house. So let's start with Venus, however, because Venus is your Lagna Lord, it is your sign Lord, and going into the sixth house in the sign of Libra on November 2nd, lighting up your daily routines, your responsibilities, and also competition. So the first 3 weeks of this month is going to push you to get organized, whether it is about managing the pressures at work or health routines or workplace politics. You're going to be finding yourself taking charge of small details. And this Venus in the sixth house, being in the Mool Trikon sign, is a very diplomatic Venus. Venus can now help you resolve conflicts at work without confronting other people. It's going to do that through persuasion. But then Venus moves into Scorpio on the 27th, joining Mars and Sun in your seventh house of relationship. That is when the real story begins, because this is where intensity is going to rise. Mars has already been in Scorpio since late October, making your partner or your business alliance more assertive. Some of them could have been even more demanding at this time. And they are going to be demanding during the month of November. You could feel that people are trying to dominate or they're trying to push you into taking decisions, especially after Sun enters the sign of Scorpio on the 17th. But all I can say is don't panic, be patient, because this is the universe testing your ability to hold your ground and also to balance your relationships. This is a month where you may not find as much support as you should be from your spouse because of Mars being in the seventh house alongside Mercury. But Mercury is definitely a friendly planet for you. So we'll talk about Mercury a bit later, but let's look at Jupiter. Jupiter is moving into the sign of Cancer in your third house, and its gaze on your seventh house could help you resolve marital problems, even as Sun moves into the sign of Scorpio. Also, Jupiter's placement in the sign of Cancer is fantastic for income, for gains, because it's going to relieve any tension in the 11th house where Saturn is presently transiting. And 11th house is the house of gains, it is the house of connections. But then Jupiter is your 8th lord, and 8th lord in the 11th house could mean that there's an old stream of income that's coming to a close, but new ones are going to open up. You might also end up gaining money through trade and investment. You're also going to gain new friends during this transit. But Jupiter may not have an aspect on Venus when Venus enters the sign of Scorpio, because Jupiter is still at 0 degrees. And that means there's not much support coming in with regards to finding harmony in your relationship. But then this is a good thing because Jupiter is a functional malefic for you, and 8th lord, you don't want 8th lord looking at your Venus at any point of time, whether it is in transits or in your birth chart. Now let's look at Mercury's movement. Mercury is in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of hidden things. It is the sign of secrets, and it happens to be your seventh house of other people. And that means Mercury is a very discerning planet. So it brings about a lot of discernment, and it adds a psychological layer this month. It begins in Scorpio, helping you to understand the hidden motivations of other people. And that means this is a perfect time for you to negotiate with people. This is a perfect time for therapy. Especially if you're a counselor, this is going to be excellent for you. It is also a good time for personal conversations. And Swami Vivekananda once said, talk to yourself at least once in a day. Otherwise, you may miss a meeting with an excellent person in this world. This month, Speaking to yourself or self-reflection on your actions is going to help you understand what you want in life and what you want from other people in life, especially your spouse or partner. But once Mercury retrogrades back into Libra on the 23rd, work and health routines are going to demand your attention. You may have to revisit a work project or fix a communication issue with a colleague or redo something that was left incomplete. At that time, when Mercury goes retrograde, avoid signing new contracts. Avoid doing anything that is very new at work. Taking on a new area of work could be a very challenging task for you at that time. Instead, try to refine your methods, your existing methods at office, and also clarify any misunderstandings that you have with other people. Now, as far as finance goes, November is going to look like a lot of work. Expenses are on the cards. Credit card debt could go up because your sign lord is going into the sixth house. Sixth house is the house of debt. Make sure to spend diligently. Don't be impulsive in your spending habit. As far as health goes, Venus transit helps in bringing beauty and a sense of fashion, maybe a new diet, gym plan, or even a self-care routine could now open up, or you could just get into plain pampering yourself with new clothing or accessory. But all I would say is just be cautious of overindulgence when Venus moves into the sign of Scorpio, because that could reignite your passion for late night cravings or emotional eating, which could spike up, and that could actually make you overindulge in things. Now, this is also a month where you could focus more on your personal relationships and also on longevity and in-laws. Some of you could see a peak in curiosity with regards to astrology, mantras, and tantras as well. You're also going to be looking for an opportunity to travel places because of Venus aspecting your 12th house and Ketu being in your 4th house, giving some detachment from home. Some of you might even go on a brief trip to a faraway location, and that could happen. So if you get a chance to move on at this time, take that opportunity to move places and rejuvenate yourself. And by the end of November, Taurus, you're going to feel like you've stepped out of some amount of confusion and stepping into clarity. Partnerships, both personal and professional, are definitely going to demand maturity, but they're going to reward honesty and balance. Mars gives the courage to speak up, and Venus is going to soften your words, and Jupiter ensures that your voice gets heard. That's all I've got for Taurus. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like and share this with your friends. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe below for more transit videos and all things astrology. Next up, we've got Gemini Ascendants or Gemini Moon sign. For Gemini Ascendants or Gemini Moon sign, this is a month where the focus is going to be on your profession. It's also going to be on your responsibilities, your daily routines. The planets are asking you to step up, plan carefully, and communicate with clarity because a lot of things are happening in the background. The month begins with Mars in Scorpio in your 6th house of work, your health, your competition. So this gives you tremendous energy to tackle daily tasks, resolve workplace challenges, and assert yourself with authority. You may feel driven to take on more responsibilities. And while this is positive, Mars's intensity can sometimes make you impatient or argumentative. Be careful with co-workers or employees who may push back, but the key is to act decisively, not impulsively. Especially be careful when Sun moves into the sign of Scorpio after the 16th of November 2025, because that is when you could be arguing with your boss and there could be a lot of tension at work. But then this is a great month for career success because of planets in your 2nd house, in your 6th house, as well as your 10th house. Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer. Mars, Sun, Mercury, Venus, all of them will be joining the mix in Scorpio in the 6th house, and Saturn is going to be in the 10th house. So you're going to use your resources at hand to solve workplace conflicts, to achieve success at work. So we are looking at a lot of success at work this month. Venus enters the sign of Libra on 2nd of November, illuminating your fifth house of creative endeavors, romance, and children. So the first half of the month is perfect for creative projects. It is good for mentoring. It is good for romance. Your romance could be light. It could be very charming and flowing and very fluid. Some of you could now go on a travel with your partner. But when Venus moves on to the sign of Scorpio on 27th of November, your feelings are going to intensify. Venus is the fifth lord going into the sixth house, and that means it's going to bring creative solutions at your workplace, and that is also good for a career, you know. And Sun stays in Libra until the 16th, highlighting your fifth house of romance, where you will be required to put in some effort because Sun is your third lord going into your fifth house. So that's a very good thing as far as romance is concerned. But then Sun can give you sudden outbursts of anger, especially at your partner, who happens to be Venus in the sign of Libra. So that is something you need to be careful about and deal with diligently. Once the Sun enters Scorpio on November 17th, it shifts into your sixth house. So that is when your workplace challenges, conflicts, or any backlogs could come into focus. The combination of Mars and Sun can make you highly capable of solving problems, but then you could also overexert yourself because Sun, Mars in the sixth house, great for competition, great for taking on more work. All of that is now being pressed on to you, your Lagna Lord, and that is not good because Mercury is a very fragile planet. It is good with playful connections, but it is not all that great when it is tasked with a lot of things. But then Mercury is a smart worker. It can multitask. So that is a positive part of this month. Health wise, keep an eye on stress and mental fatigue. Mars in your sixth can push you hard physically, and Mercury retrograde can make you overthink small details, adding tension, bringing some hidden disease to the foreground. So, my suggestion would be for you to take short breaks, meditation, focus work. All of this is going to help you keep balanced thanks to Jupiter's fifth aspect on the sign of Scorpio. So by the end of November, you're going to feel a sense of progress and momentum, especially with regards to your profession, your creative life, your romantic life. Playful connections and ambitious projects are possible, but only if you act thoughtfully. But those people who are in the research-related field expect some tension, expect some, pressure from your bosses, from your workplace colleagues. They're gonna demand a deadline or timeline, but with regards to research, it's very difficult to put a timeline and say this is when the work is going to end, and that is where the problem starts. So for those who are in the research related field, use your smartness to gain an advantage. But nonetheless, I know for sure that this is a month is where you're going to find professional success. And Saturn retrograde in the 10th house is going to call for patience and diligence at work. Double check your work because Saturn is now retrograde, or you would end up doing the same thing again and again. Although you may not see tangible results as yet, Saturn is going to ensure that you get the success when you least expected it to happen. All right, and also for those who are looking for a job, this month is going to open up some opportunity to see some change in your professional life. That is possible. And that's all I've got for Gemini. If you liked what you heard, please give it a thumbs up. Share this with your friends and family. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below for more such transit videos and all things astrology. Next up, we've got Cancer Ascendants or Cancer Moon sign. Let's look at Cancer Ascendants or Cancer Moon sign. Let's begin with Jupiter exalted in the sign of Cancer. Your first house remains your greatest strength. It's going to enhance your wisdom. It's going to enhance your intuition and personal magnetism. This month, you're going to attract attention naturally. People are going to trust you, they're going to look up to you, and they may even seek your guidance. Jupiter acts as a shield, softening the effects of any domestic or emotional turbulence that you've been going through. It's a time to lead with maturity and emotional intelligence because Cancer is the sign of emotion. A lot of people are going to notice this. Health-wise, energy is strong, but it's a bit scattered because of Mars in the fifth house. It can heighten stress if you juggle too many creative or romantic commitments because of its conjunction with Mercury. Mercury is a multitasker. It jumps very quickly from one thing to another. But Jupiter in your first will support recovery if you listen to your body. Now let's look at Mars in Scorpio, your fifth house of romance, your children, and also self-expression. This is fiery. This is a creative energy we're talking about. So you're going to feel driven to start something new, a passion project, maybe a performance, or even take bold steps in love, especially if you're a single Cancer. But Mars in this house can also stir competition or impatience. If you're a parent, children may demand more of your time and energy. So be careful around children. Don't beat them up. If you're angry, that could happen, especially when Sun enters the sign of Scorpio after the 16th of November 2025. Don't do anything that could make you regret at a later date. The Sun stays in Libra until November 16th. That means it's eliminating your fourth house of home, family, and emotional grounding. Early November may feel a bit heavy with domestic duties, maybe property related matters, repairs, or family conversations about home and property, where your confidence is going to feel zapped because Sun is actually debilitated in this sign. But then Venus is your 11th lord entering the sign of Libra, his Mool Trikon sign in the fourth house, and that means you could now gain through property. You could gain a property, or you could also gain a new vehicle. You could now buy a new vehicle. That is possible because Venus is a karaka for transportation. This is also a very good transit for home decor, family harmony, emotional healing. That is possible. But then Sun debilitated in Libra could make you a bit less confident about the prospects of your home life, your domestic life. There could be some issue that could crop up at this time. Mercury starts the month in Scorpio, giving you sharp focus and insight in romantic matters, and also with regards to your children. You'll notice patterns, connections, even emotional nuances that you would otherwise miss. However, once Mercury retrogrades back into Libra on November 23rd, your attention is going to shift back to home again. Perhaps revisiting a family discussion, property deal, or emotional issue that needs clarity. Use this time to reconcile differences or make improvements to your living environment. And is that it? What did I miss? Also, what about aspects? Let's look at aspects. Professionally, we are looking at tackling some certain issues because of Mars in the sign of Scorpio, which happens to be the 8th house from your 10th house. Right? So your focus alongside your creative work will be in your profession. So be ready to tackle any sudden issues that crop up. A lot of planets are also aspecting your 11th house of gains and income, and that means this is a month of gain. This is also a good month for good earnings, good potential to connect with people. Overall, if you can sideline your fourth house related matters during the first half of the month because of Sun being debilitated, it's going to be a pretty enjoyable month, no doubt. Especially with Venus alone and Libra in the Mool Trikon sign is very good for property related deals. So this month, Cancer, take the chance to beautify your surroundings, express your emotions through creative endeavors, and nurture the people that nurture you back. November is going to reward those who act from the heart. And if you like what you heard, please give it a thumbs up, share this with your friends and family. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below for more such transit videos and all things astrology. Next up, we have Leo Ascendants or Leo Moon sign. So for Leos, let's begin with Sun. Sun remains in Libra until November 16th, shining in your third house of communication, your ideas, your courage. The first half of November is perfect for sharing thoughts, writing, teaching, or reconnecting with siblings. You're going to feel mentally alert and expressive. Then on November 17th, the Sun enters Scorpio, joining Mars in your fourth house, bringing focus towards home, bringing focus towards emotional priorities. Around this time, you may need to take important domestic decisions or you may have to support a family member through change. It's also a phase of emotional recharge. With Mars already in the sign of Scorpio, Mars is going to give you the courage to face any emotional imbalance. Together, Sun and Mars are going to bring the focus on your emotional and personal security. Don't be impulsive with any decision related to home this month, at least until Venus goes into the sign of Scorpio, where the work that you do in bringing a change at home will bring love and harmony, because Venus is the natural significator of the seventh house of harmony and relationships. So with so many planets in your fourth house, it's almost a perfect time to host a gathering. Some of you are going to do that. Now let's talk about Jupiter exalted in Cancer, your 12th house. This is a very deeply spiritual placement. This is a quiet blessing because Jupiter here works behind the scenes, giving you protection through intuition, faith, and also from all the unseen negative forces of the universe. You may not realize how many problems are being solved silently for you this month. However, Jupiter is also asking you to rest more, reflect more, and release whatever negative feelings that you have. But Jupiter signifies some expense connected to home or property, because Cancer is the natural fourth in the zodiac order, so you could be spending some money on property this month. Also, Jupiter is aspecting your fourth through its fifth house, fifth aspect, and that is also indicative of some expense coming with regards to your property or home or your vehicles. So expect some big expense, but Jupiter's aspect on the 8th house of Pisces, where Saturn is transiting, is going to bring some relief with regards to 8th house related matters, which means some of you could see inheritance or gifts coming in, and that's a positive sign. Aspects of planets on the 10th house is going to bring your focus on work and profession as well. Some of you will gain recognition for the good work done, and despite the emotional tension and worries, by the end of November, you're going to feel extremely happy, prosperous, and lucky this month. So remember, Leo, nurture your inner fire, and by the next season, your light will return stronger than ever. Also, let's look at Mercury. Mercury starts the month in Scorpio as well. It's going to help you sharpen your perception about what's really happening within your family or your inner life. However, when Mercury retrogrades into Libra on November 23rd, communication shifts outward again. You might revisit an old conversation with a sibling, or you could rework an unfinished writing or presentation, and that's all coming to the foreground. The retrograde is also going to help you rethink how you express yourself, especially in close relationships. As far as Venus goes, Venus enters Libra on November 2nd, bringing charm and diplomacy to your third house of communication and connections. So that means your words are going to carry a lot of persuasion. And this is a good time if you're looking to sweet talk somebody into seeing your side of the story, and that could happen. This is a great time for writing, content creation, and also for forming collaborations, because Libra is the natural seventh in the zodiac order. This is a great time to support your siblings as well. And those are the major predictions for this month. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Also share this video with your friends and family. Next up, we've got Virgo Ascendants or Virgo Moon sign. Let's look at Virgo Ascendants or Virgo Moon sign. Let's begin the month with Mercury, your sign lord, going into the third house. Now, Mercury going into the third house is very good for communication. It's very good for short distance travel. Mercury aspecting the ninth house is also good for long distance travel. It is good for writing, content creation, all of that. But then Mercury conjunct Mars, which is your eighth lord, conjunct the eighth lord, is not really good for the self. It is not good for the sibling as well. There could be some difficult situation that is unfolding with regards to you, your sibling, and that is going to require all the effort that you can put in, because remember, Mercury is also your 10th lord, and that means a lot of work is now coming up with regards to your third house related matters. Now, I'm sorry to bring this bad news. I'm not saying this is exactly what's going to happen. It could happen. This is a major theme that I see that could unfold for Virgo natives. But the good side of this transit is Jupiter. Jupiter is now coming into the sign of Cancer. It is barely there in Cancer, but then still it is getting exalted in the sign of Cancer, and it is going to aspect your seventh house, bringing some relief to your spouse, as well as bringing some expert advice from your spouse to your siblings to yourself that could help you get out of that difficult situation that you could face this month. Health wise, Mars can increase restlessness or short temper, so prioritize good sleep. Ketu in the 12th can actually be very rewarding with rest and relaxation. So if you get the chance to rejuvenate, do it, go for it. Let's also look at Mars in Scorpio, your third house of communication, courage, and self effort. This placement is powerful for taking initiative, whether you're launching a project, negotiating, or speaking your mind. You're going to feel very confident, very bold. But Mars here can also make words sharper than intended. So choose assertiveness over aggression. This is a fantastic transit for those involved in competitive exams, those involved in sports, investigative journalism, anyone needing to communicate ideals with conviction. All of these people are going to benefit from Mars in Scorpio. However, like I said, this could be a month which may bring some trouble to your siblings, maybe some health complication or some sudden issue that takes them by surprise, and you're going to have to work on that, being the Mercury being the 10th lord in your third house. So you're going to have to take control of the situation within the family, including financially supporting your siblings later this month. Sun stays in Libra until November 16th, lighting up your second house of finance, values, and speech. Early November shows some expenses where you're going to have to empty your pocket because Sun is your 12th lord going into your second house. And then on November 17th, the Sun enters Scorpio where it leaves the sign of debilitation and joins Mars in your third house. You're going to feel driven to execute plans. You're going to feel driven to take control of the situation. Communication becomes intense and purposeful. And Sun, being your 12th lord, entering the sign of Scorpio means some expenses connected to your siblings as well. So watch out for any kind of problem that arises with your siblings. Please take care of them. Venus enters Libra on November 2nd, also entering your second house, bringing grace and luck in finance. This is an excellent time for monetary gains, client attraction, or smoothing out income related issue because Venus is in his Mool Trikorn sign. Mars, Sun, Mercury aspecting your ninth house means there could be some travel coming up in November. You might indulge in travel, going out with your spouse. Powerful aspect of Jupiter on your seventh house of spouse is bringing some relief there, like I already mentioned. You might also indulge in fine dining because of Venus in the second house. But the beauty of Venus in second is that it's always going to be very balanced in diet, even though it is in its second house. When Venus moves into Scorpio on November 27th, it joins Mars and Sun in your third house, making your words more magnetic, more persuasive. Relationship with siblings and co-workers are going to be more harmonious once again. And by the end of November, Virgo, you're going to realize that your voice, your effort, your communication, your network are your real assets. The more thoughtfully you express yourself, the more doors will open for you at this time. Jupiter is going to ensure that those who believe in your work will step up for you. All you need to do is keep moving forward with positive intentions. And that's all I've got. If you liked what you heard, please give it a thumbs up. Share this with your friends and family. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below for more such transit videos on all things astrology. Next up, we have Libra Ascendants or Libra Moon sign. Alright, let's look at Libra Ascendants or Libra Moon sign. For Librans, Venus is now transiting your first house. Venus enters the sign of Libra on November 2nd, 2025, and Venus rules your first house as well as your eighth house. Now, eighth house is a very difficult house. It rules transformation, it rules death, it rules endings, and a lot of negative things. And that is not very good when it enters the first house because it does not augur well for the self. But being the ascendant lord, Venus cannot harm itself. The self can never harm itself unless you're going through some really difficult situation like a sati sati or some really difficult situation where you don't see an alternative except suicide. Now, I do not at any point of time in my life would ever endorse suicide as a solution for any problem. It does no good. It's a no-brainer, and it's something that should be opposed by one and all, and it's something that you should not resort to no matter what the circumstance is. That being said, now I do not see a death-like situation for Libra ascendants, but however, I do see some difficult situation coming into your life, and that could happen because of the eighth lord in the first house, and also because your 11th lord, who is a Badikesh, coming into your first house. So both placements do not augur well for you. There could be a difficult situation with regards to your earnings. Sun debilitated, 11th lord debilitated in the first house means that your confidence could get zapped right now. You're not very confident about your earning potential. There's some trouble that is nagging you, and all of that is putting you in a lot of worry or a state of tension. But let me also tell you, eighth lord also governs astrology, tantra, mantra, and all the secret things in the universe. That means you could now learn some of the greatest secrets in astrology. You could now learn something about your future and guard yourself in the coming days. You may even receive a consultation from an astrologer, and that could help you. But it also could mean that if you are an astrologer yourself, it also could mean that your confidence is zapped and you're not very confident about your own predictions in the charts that you read. That is a possibility. Now, Venus, your ruling planet in the first house, could also indicate trouble to marriage, trouble to your spouse. There could be some difficult situation coming to your spouse as well. But the good thing about this placement is that Venus in the first brings beauty to the self. It brings charisma to the self. Your sense of self is going through a transformation. It could be your physical style or appearance or even the way you perceive what the self really means. Venus in the first also helps you heal recent relationship strains by radiating peace and grace. Rahu in the fifth and Venus in the first are activating your self-expression. There's so much to gain in the way you express yourself and the way you're perceived. And when Venus moves into Scorpio on November 27th, she enters your second house, bringing financial opportunities and emotional satisfaction through possessions, through resources and partnerships. Money could flow more easily near end of the month, but you should definitely avoid overindulgence at this time. Mercury also starts the month in Scorpio, sharpening your income, your speech. You're going to think deeply about what you say and how you say it. But on November 23rd, Mercury retrogrades back into Libra, your first house, urging you to rethink personal plans, goals, and even how you present yourself to other people. You might revise a creative idea, reconnect with an old friend, or clarify some misunderstanding that may have happened in your relationship. This is not a setback, it's more of a readjustment that happens when Mercury retrogrades back. It's going to help you out in dealing with the shock, in dealing with the situation. So, this is mostly a positive retrograde transit. Also, Mercury being your ninth lord and the 12th lord going into the second house means there could be some travel within the family. This is a good time to plan for a vacation or move someplace far away. Mercury can boost your income through foreign resources. That is also possible. And as far as Mars is concerned, Mars in Scorpio sitting in your second house of finance, speech, and values brings strong motivation to secure a strong income or expand your financial base. So you could find yourself working harder or demanding what you deserve or speaking more assertively about what you want. Now let's look at Mars in Scorpio. Mars brings strong motivation to secure income or expand your financial base. You may find yourself working harder, demanding what you deserve, or speaking more assertively about what you actually need. Mars here can boost your earnings. This is a good time for you to negotiate with your employers to gain an advantage, especially after Sun enters the sign of Scorpio. But Mars here can also bring some tension within the family, especially through speech if you become too direct. Thankfully, because of Jupiter's aspect, Mars gains wisdom in speaking. This is a month where your speech is getting refined. You learn to speak the right way to garner public attention because Jupiter is in the 10th house aspecting the second house. But remember, Jupiter is a functional malefic, and being the third lord and the sixth lord in the aspecting the second house could mean that your speech and communication are being influenced by your bosses, your superiors. There is a change in the narrative at work. There's a potential conflict that you could now be going through within the family, maybe around saving money or even accumulating wealth. All of this is facing some hurdle, and you are in the middle of it. Now, as far as Sun is concerned, Sun remains in your sign Libra until November 16th, highlighting your personal expression and also your confidence. And your confidence level could be low because Sun is debilitated in the sign of Libra. But this is also a good time for you to become more visible and charismatic than usual because of Venus in the first house. 11th Lord going into the first house means that a new stream of income could be opening up for you, but it's a weak link in the chain of income because Sun is debilitated in the sign of Libra. But then you could work really hard to strengthen it, and that is seen by Jupiter's aspect on your second house. Jupiter being the third lord, aspecting your second house means that you're going to work really hard to secure that income, to secure that money. And then on November 17th, the Sun enters Scorpio, moving into your second house where it joins Mars. And from this point on, financial matters and emotional values are going to dominate. You might reassess what's truly worth your time, what's truly worth your effort, what's truly worth your money. It's also a powerful time for standing up for your principles. 11th Lord in the second house is great for income, but second, along with 7th and 9th, is a powerful combination for accumulating wealth and possessions. Ketu in the 11th will, however, bring satisfaction with whatever you're getting, with whatever you're earning. There won't be a craving for more money. So we're looking at contentment with earnings and connections. Now, the silent blessing for you is Jupiter entering the sign of Cancer in your 10th house. Even if things feel slow earlier, by end to late November, your reputation is going to become stronger. Superiors at your work are going to notice your work, they're going to notice your effort. Saturn also receives the aspect of Jupiter, and it's going to ensure that your long-term work brings visible fruits. Saturn is able to channelize the good energy, being your yoga karaka, and bring some relief to workplace tension. But Saturn is also going to become more steady and more grounded as the possibilities of a turbulent change in regime at work becomes inevitable in the future. Health-wise, Mars in second can increase stress eating or inflammation, so watch diet and rest. Venus in your first helps recovery if you listen to your body, so balance your action with grace. By the end of November, Libra, you're going to feel more centered, more clear about what you want, what you are in life, and where you stand in this life. Financial confidence is also going to increase because Venus moves into the sign of Scorpio, your second house. And your long-term professional rewards are also building behind the scenes. So don't worry about it because of Saturn being your yoga karaka, aspecting your 12th house of behind the scenes work. And that's all I've got for Libra. If you like what you heard, please give it a thumbs up. Share this with your friends and family. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below for more such kinds of videos on all things astrology. Next up, we have Scorpio Ascendants or Scorpio Moon sign. Alright, Scorpio, this is your month of rebirth. The energy is concentrated in your sign. It's powerful, it's magnetic, and it's demanding transformation. This is when you reclaim your personal power. But how you use it will determine the story that follows. Let's begin with Mars in Scorpio. Mars is your Lagna Lord, and in Scorpio, it's operating in full strength from October 27, 2025. This makes you more driven, more assertive, and ready to take charge, especially at work, because Mars is your sixth Lord coming into the first house. But Ketu in the 10th house is still giving you some sense of uncertainty about the future of your profession. For those without a job, this is a time to think about upskilling or getting trained in new things as Jupiter enters your ninth house of higher education. Mars will give you a renewed sense of control over your choices, your body, your goals. But remember, Mars is in the first can also bring restlessness or impulsive action. Take decisive steps, but avoid forcing outcomes because of the fiery combination of Mars and Sun in Scorpio when Sun moves into the sign of Scorpio from mid-November 2025. The Sun, of course, is going to stay in Libra until November 16th, which means it's going to be illuminating your 12th house of rest, your 12th house of introspection. So the first half of the month may feel quiet, like you're clearing space emotionally or spiritually before the new chapter begins. It's also excellent for releasing baggage, especially if it is emotional or relational or even physical for that matter. Once the Sun enters Scorpio on November 17th, joining Mars, your vitality is going to surge back. People are going to notice you, your confidence rises, and you're going to feel alive again. It's your solar return moment, and your inner light is going to reignite. It's going to come back alive. Now let's look at Venus. Venus is in the sign of Libra during November. It starts its transit in the sign of Libra on November 2nd, 2025, moving through your 12th house. 12th house is the house of hidden love, unspoken feelings. So you may crave solitude, you may crave spiritual companionship, you may crave past relationships, but then all of that could be coming to a closure because Venus is your 12th Lord in the 12th house. Some of you are also going to contemplate on a vacation or a long distance travel, but when Venus enters Scorpio on November 27th, she joins Mars as well as the Sun in the sign of Scorpio, making you irresistibly magnetic. You're going to exude a rare charisma, but also attract equally intense situations at that time. Now, you need to tread carefully with regards to any new relationship because not every attraction is meant to stay. Mercury. Now, Mercury starts the month in Scorpio, giving you sharp insights and persuasive communication. You're going to see beneath the surface in every situation. Your social circle is going to make you transformative, but with Mercury retrograding back into Libra on November 23rd, some unfinished emotional or professional matter from the past month may return for review. Use this retrograde to reflect. It's a chance for you to clean up miscommunication before you move forward because 8th Lord conjunction with the 6th and the 10th indicates some turbulent times with regards to profession. Ketu in the 10th is also making matters worse for Scorpio. So tread carefully. Also, the highlight for this month is going to be about your financial health, where you're mulling over your expenses, your survival. What are you going to do about your uncertain future? And how are you going to manage the coming storm? And these themes are going to repeat for the next few months as Saturn puts a restricting gaze onto your 11th house of income. But Jupiter brings some relief to your 5th house because of its aspect on Saturn, because it is now strengthening your 5th house of creative endeavors, including children and education. Some of you may even get a scholarship at this time to help you push forward. Jupiter is going to help you find a creative solution to your financial woes. Some of you are going to make big money through the stock market during this time. Why? Because Jupiter is in the ninth house, which is the Bhavat Bhavam of the fifth house. This is a blessing of divine protection. Even when things feel chaotic or uncertain, Jupiter ensures that you get the right guidance through mentors, through gurus, and your faith and family values are going to help you keep yourself in good stead. Travel, education, or spiritual practice can bring unexpected rewards at this time. It's the kind of placement that turns turbulence into wisdom, but only if you stay true to your higher principles. Health-wise, Mars in the first can bring in adrenaline. There could be some anxiety, especially because Scorpio is the natural eighth in the zodiac order. So there could be some anxiety, some stressful situation. So get into yoga or meditation, hydrate yourself, avoid burnout, especially when Sun enters the sign of Scorpio in mid-November. Venus in 12th is conducive for rest. By the end of November, you're going to feel renewed, stronger, sharper, and more clear about your direction in life. You're shedding an old version of yourself and stepping into a fearless, more authentic you. And that's all I've got for Scorpios. If you liked what you heard, please give it a thumbs up. Share this with your friends and family. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below for more such kinds of videos. And next up, we have Sagittarius Ascendant or Sagittarius Moon sign. Right, for Sagittarius, November 2025 is a month of release, reflection, and it is also a month of transformation. Now, things may appear to slow down externally. The truth is that there's a lot of churning that is happening within because of Saturn retrograde in the fourth house. So the universe is asking you to pause, to cleanse, and to prepare for a new personal cycle that begins next month. Now let's start with Mars in Scorpio moving through your 12th house of rest, endings, and spiritual work. This is a time when the body may feel restless, but your soul seeks peace. You might feel like working behind the scenes or withdrawing from usual social activity. Mars here can bring hidden frustrations. It can also bring you sleepless nights, but it also pushes you to confront inner fears. Use this energy for healing. Use this energy for meditation or closure, not confrontation. When Mars transits your 12th, be careful around sharp objects like knives, blades, and cutting instruments because Mars is a karaka for blood, and Mars going into the 12th house can bring some loss of blood. So be very careful around sharp edges and watch your step. You don't want to trip and end up with a bruise. Sun remains in Libra until November 16th, highlighting your 11th house of networks and gains. The first half of the month may bring collaboration or teamwork, and you might also go on a team vacation or travel with your friends. That's also possible. Then on November 17th, the Sun enters Scorpio, joining Mars in your 12th house. From this point, your energy turns inward, a perfect time for spiritual retreat. Travel to quiet places is possible, or simply stepping back to recharge is what I see this month. So this is not really a phase where you failed, but it's a phase where you're preparing. You see the seed always rests before sprouting again. So this is a good time for you to rejuvenate before you begin your activity next season. Venus enters Libra on November 2nd, moving through your 11th house. This is a wonderful placement for friendships, for networks, for gains, for income. It can bring small gains through partnerships. Venus moves into Scorpio on November 27th, where she joins the Sun and Mars in your 12th house, turning relationships more private and reflective. You may crave an emotional connection, but you're going to also have dualistic thoughts about needing space to understand your own feelings. Now, Mercury starts the month in Scorpio as well, sharpening your intuition, sharpening your inner awareness. So you may have vivid dreams, strong gut feelings, or a desire for solitude. For those working in a foreign country and expecting a renewal of your contract or terms of engagement, expect some positive news at this time. For those who are looking for an opportunity abroad, this transit is going to be favorable to help you work in your dream country. And when Mercury retrogrades back into Libra on November 23rd, old friendships, clients, or social connections could reappear. You may have to revise your agreements when Mercury retrogrades. You may have to rethink your approach to collaboration. Now, the guiding light, Jupiter exalted in the eighth house, can bring good fortune, can bring you a long life. It can bring mystical insights about your future. This is a very karmic placement for Jupiter, but it's going to have a fortunate influence on your travel. Some of you could be shifting houses, moving to a different city, to a different place to settle down. That's possible. Health-wise, rest is non-negotiable, so please remember to take rest. The 12th house activity can actually drain your vitality if you're going to overwork. Sleep, meditation, and gentle exercise will keep you balanced, and that's what you need to do this November. This month is all about foreign connections, dreams, relaxation, your bodily self, your vitality, and also about your creative endeavors, your education, your happiness in general. So by the end of November, Sagittarius, you're going to feel like you've gone through an emotional detox kind of phase. The old energy is now leaving you, and a new phase, a very fresh, bold, and self-driven one is going to begin as planets start moving into your sign next month. So this November, let go gracefully, step back, recharge, listen to what your intuition is telling you to, and hope for good times to unfold. What a wonderful month this is going to be for you. This November brings the world to your doorstep. It's a time when people, partnerships, career all begin to surge forward. But you will need wisdom and emotional intelligence to handle this transformation, to handle this momentum. So let's begin with Mars. Mars was in your 10th house, giving you directional strength with regards to profession, and with Sun there, it was even better. On 27th of October, Mars moves into your 11th house of social networks, collaborations, and long-term goals, and it's powerful for achievement, but it also tests your patience with people. Mars here wants to dominate in your social circle. It wants to assert leadership. So be careful of friction with colleagues, be careful of friction with friends. This is the time to act on your ambition, but also to recognize that every alliance has its purpose and its limitations. So don't push too hard with your ideas, just go with the flow. The Sun continues in Libra until November 16th, highlighting your 10th house of career, of public reputation. You're being seen, evaluated, and possibly rewarded as well. There could be recognition from authority figures or opportunities to take the lead. But remember, Libra energy is about balance. You may need to juggle multiple roles or maintain diplomacy at work. Then from November 17th, Sun moves into the sign of Scorpio, joining Mars in your 11th house. That's when your social calendar is going to begin to heat up. Alliances are going to form, but so do rivalries. You may find yourself drawn to intense people or big groups or influential people. The key is to go with what meets your purpose, not popularity. Mars Sun in the 11th can either amplify your reach or drain your energy through unnecessary competition. Choose your associations wisely, choose your rivalries wisely. Mercury remains in Scorpio for most of the month, sharpening your mind and making you persuasive in team discussions. But when it retrogrades back into the sign of Libra on 23rd of November, expect some workplace miscommunication or delays in approval. Double check your emails, double check your proposals or collaborations before end of the year. Now the conjunction of the 11th lord, 6th lord, and the 8th lord could indicate new earning potential opening up for you. An old stream of income may close down, but a new one is opening up for you, which is going to be hugely transformative. Especially if you're going through a favorable dasha, your Sun, Mars, Mercury, and later Venus joining the mix can give you immense amount of wealth. So this is your time to shine. Now the steady guide of the month, Jupiter. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, sitting in your 7th house of partnership. This is a blessing. It's going to bring strong allies, mentors, or contracts that can stabilize your path. However, Jupiter is also asking you to see relationships as a reflection, People will show you what you project. If you've been carrying old resentment or control patterns, this Jupiter can heal uh, those patterns and bring emotional honesty. For single Capricorns, you're going to forge meaningful connections, but there can also be a karmic or soulful undertone to that connection. Financially, the 10th, 11th house emphasis suggests income through recognition, networks, or leadership roles. You may also benefit uh, from teamwork, from public work. Rahu in the second is good for finance, but Ketu in the eighth may not be that great with regards to inheritance. So if you're fighting a battle in court for a disputed land or something of that sort, you still have to wait for some more time to get a favorable decision. But then again, Mars being in the 11th house uh, means that you gain property at this time. There could be some solution in the offing, but you need to tread carefully in order to see success. Emotionally, watch for burnout with Mars and Sun both active in the 11th. You might feel socially overloaded. Carve out a quiet moment, especially when Venus enters the sign of Scorpio late in the month, to reconnect with whatever it is that motivates you to keep going in the pursuit of financial freedom, recognition, and also prosperity. Because all these planets from the 11th are going to be aspecting your fifth house of prosperity, fifth house of Purva Punya Phala, and happiness, in general. So Venus in the 10th also brings your focus to your mother and also your living condition at home. There could be a celebration or spicing up things in your home through decoration or through design. And some of you are also going to enjoy a vacation, maybe a faraway place to recharge yourself. By the end of November, Capricorn, you're going to look back and realize how much your public image has evolved in the past. You're no longer in the background. You're now in the leading position. You're now inspiring people, you're teaching. Just ensure that the power is guided by your heart, not by ego. So show up with grace, speak with clarity, let your alliance reflect your highest self. Jupiter is watching and blessing every partnership that comes from truth. If you like what you heard, please give it a thumbs up, share this with your friends and family. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below for more such kinds of videos and all things astrology. Next up we have Aquarius Ascendants or Aquarius Moon sign. Aquarius, November 2025 is a month of grit and determination. It is also a month of growth and transformation. You're coming into a phase where the universe is asking you to tidy up your routines, heal your body, and bring order to areas of chaos. It's not glamorous work, but it's the kind that pays off in real power later this month. Let's start with Mars now in Scorpio, energizing your 10th house. Mars gains directional strength in the 10th house. That means your career, your public life is going to gain recognition at this time. Mars here ignites ambition, drive, and a desire to stand out in your field. Mars is going to do extremely well in this place, but then Mars can bring some kind of overexertion. Especially watch out for the period when Sun joins Mars mid-November, where there could be a burnout-like situation. But remember, slow burning effect will bring longer results. The Sun spends the first half of the month in Libra, lighting up your ninth house of philosophy or higher learning. So this could be a time where you spend some time in travel, maybe in completing studies, but there may not have been much satisfaction because Sun is debilitated in the sign of Libra. But then again, on November 17th, Sun moves into Scorpio, joining Mars in your 10th house, and suddenly your work takes center stage. Recognition comes, but so do responsibilities. Expect becoming visible, possibly a change in leadership or a key project that defines your next step. Now, Venus enters Libra on November 2nd, also gracing your ninth house. This is a gentle and supportive influence. Venus here makes travel, teaching, or higher education very pleasant, very rewarding. You might meet guides, you might meet mentors, or even romantic interest through learning or spiritual circles, or even through travel. This is a beautiful time to reconnect with faith, a beautiful time for you to find beauty in other cultures, in other philosophies. And when Venus moves into Scorpio on November 27th, she joins the Sun and Mars in your 10th house, adding some charisma to your public image because of the combination of Mars and Sun in the 10th house. Mercury already in Scorpio keeps your focus very sharp at work. You're going to notice your ability to research, to plan, and negotiate becoming stronger this month. But when Mercury retrogrades back into Libra on November 23rd, there may be a delay in travel plans, or there could be a revision in something related to education, something related to visas or publication that could happen. Now, the spiritual foundation of this month, Jupiter exalted in Cancer in the 6th house of health, service, and discipline. This placement is humbling but also protective. Jupiter here rewards you for the effort that you've been putting in at your work, in your daily life, with regards to your health as well. If you've been struggling with routine, procrastination, or health issues, then Jupiter can offer solutions, not shortcuts, but real solutions, real healing through awareness. You need to listen to your body and also your inner self. Work-wise, this combination of Jupiter in the 6th and Mars, Sun, Venus in the 10th bring promotional potential or recognition through persistence. If you're freelancing or self-employed, you might attract new clients. Jupiter's aspect on your 2nd house is bringing some relief in the tension within the family or with finance. If you're in a job, expect heavier workload but also rewards by the end of the month. But certainly a good month for expanding social connections and also your earnings. Emotionally, there's going to be a shift from intellectual detachment to emotional engagement. Scorpio energy in the 10th house is going to push you to lead with your heart, not just your intellect. Others are going to feel your sincerity, and that's what draws opportunities. By the end of November, Aquarius is going to feel like the fog is lifting and you have better clarity about the direction your career is taking you in. So this November, build your life like an engineer of destiny, one brick of integrity at a time. Jupiter is promising you that every humble act of service, every humble act of giving back to the community now builds a future of real authority. And that's all I've got for Aquarius. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share this video with your friends and family. Next up, we have Pisces Ascendant or Pisces Moon sign. Right, Pisces, November 2025 is your month of spiritual awakening and emotional regeneration. Now, it's not going to be the kind of growth that's loud or visible right away, but it's the kind that redefines your entire direction. Your direction about your beliefs, your faith, your inner power, because Mars is now transiting in your ninth house of dharma, of wisdom and long distance travel. So when Mars transits the ninth, you're going to feel fired up to chase a vision or defend your beliefs. There's going to be a strong urge to act on what feels morally or spiritually right, because Mars actually sees only black or white. It does not see the gray side in things. So Mars here can make you preachy or impatient with other people's perspectives. Instead, what I would suggest is for you to use this opportunity to walk the talk, to act with courage on what you believe in. Some of you could also now end up traveling to faraway places for educational or spiritual purposes. You might even meet with a teacher figure at this time who reignites your inner fire about religion, about spirituality. And Mercury joining the mix with Mars, Mercury being the 7th lord in the sign of Scorpio, means that you could also now travel with your spouse to a faraway place. Now, Sun stays in Libra until November 16th, lighting up your 8th house of transformation. This part of the month can feel heavy. There could be some financial matters that could come to the surface. There could be some issue with your spouse, some issue with your in-laws. All of that gets highlighted because of Sun in the 8th house. Then on November 17th, Sun moves into Scorpio, joining Mars in your ninth house, and that's when clarity starts to return because Sun is moving away from its sign of debilitation and gaining support from Mars, which represents courage and willpower. So that is when you begin to see meaning in recent challenges. Faith, which might have been shaky earlier, becomes your strength again. But expect to face quite a few challenges with regards to travel as well as finance as Sun enters the sign of Scorpio. But even otherwise, this month is all about spending money for travel. Now, Venus enters Libra on November 2nd, beautifying your 8th house. This is a healing placement. Venus in the 8th brings emotional depth. Venus brings intimacy in relationship. Sexual relationships are going to intensify. However, it is also going to bring the need to trust and release control. Not everything can be analyzed, so let go of control in relationship. When Venus moves into Scorpio to your ninth house on November 27th, your love and your faith are going to intertwine. Relationships can take on a soulful, even faded quality. For some, this transit brings spiritual travel with a loved one or a desire to learn something mystical together. Mercury already in Scorpio helps you process things intellectually. You're thinking deeply, even philosophically about life, about purpose in life, and all of that is finding center stage. But when Mercury retrogrades and goes back into the sign of Libra on 23rd of November, you're going to learn a few things about astrology, about tantra, about mantra, about inheritance maybe. All of that is coming to the surface again, and you could also be reviewing your taxes, your insurance, or your joint assets with your spouse at that time. The crown jewel of your chart this time, this November, is Jupiter exalted in Cancer, sitting in your fifth house of creative endeavors, sitting in the house of intelligence and divine grace. This is your saving grace this month. No matter what confusion the outer world brings, Jupiter here restores hope and inspiration. You're going to express yourself creatively through art, through music, through teaching, and it could bring you recognition or joy. For those who are wanting to start a family or strengthen your romantic connection, this is an auspicious placement. From the fifth house, Jupiter is casting its gaze onto your 11th house of social connections and income. So expect some good times there. Spiritually, Jupiter in the fifth is like your guardian light. It reminds you that the path of truth is the path of joy. Financially, the 8th and ninth house, emphasis can bring mixed results. Joint resources might fluctuate early in the month, but the second half brings opportunities from teaching, from publishing, or from going global, or from travel even. By the end of November, Pisces, you're going to feel reborn, softer, wiser, and more confident in your own truth. This month is less about control and more about surrender, letting divine timing work for you. So trust your intuition this month. Let go of what's decaying. Move towards what feels alive. Life is about living it, not just surviving, even if it's uncertain, and that's what you're going to find out. Jupiter's blessing is with you, so Godspeed. And we've reached the end of the transit video, Pisces. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. If you like what you heard, give it a thumbs up, share this with your friends and family, and I will see you guys again with another new video very soon.